What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Aray Show. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at one of my favorite stocks. It used to be inside of my dividend portfolio, but because of the pandemic, it cut its dividend. I decided to give it a little bit of time before I decided to put it inside of my growth portfolio. No, I didn't give up on this stock. In fact, I love this stock. I absolutely love the direction that it's going. And I definitely think it's becoming more of a growth stock than a dividend stock. Either way, it's one of my favorite stocks, and we're going to be talking about it all during this video. That stock is none other than, and I'm pretty sure that you read it during the title, but that stock is Disney. So in this video, we're going to do a little bit of a touch on Disney. We're not going to go full blown into it like some of the other channels. I want to keep this video very basic for new and beginning investors, so we can all take a look. So if you guys want to see all that, stay tuned, and you guys already know what comes next. Cue that intro. When people think about huge companies, especially in the stock market, most likely they're going to be talking about Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and one of the companies that really slips behind people's mind is none other than Disney. Disney is a huge company. They own so much. I know it's a little bit hard to see from this picture, so I'll leave a link in the description just in case you guys want to check it out for yourself. But some of the different areas that they actually have investments in, or at least they own assets in, include film, television, music and radio, gaming, finance, theater, consumer goods, property and parks, publishing, and digital. It's just absolutely insane of all the different areas that Disney's actually able to operate in. And I know this is going to sound pretty bad because I also invest into AT&T, but they got their shit together. They're not all over the place like Disney trying to acquire a bunch of different type of companies, but Disney's actually here managing their companies and being able to understand what really brings up their brand and establishing that strong brand. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that Warren Buffett would love this stock, because they have that strong moat. They're a very reputable company, a brand, a household name that every single person knows. For example, if you're going to think about television or film, one of the first companies that come to mind is Disney. If you're remembering your childhood, one of the first things that's going to come to mind is Disney. And even, you know what, even when you're thinking about sports, they own 80% of ESPN. And Disney just has a huge array of different categories and areas that they control and own. And that's why they have a huge moat. They have that global appeal. And honestly, they just have a huge library of content. So Disney is definitely one of those brand names that everyone recognizes and loves, and that's one of the reasons why I really like Disney. And it's one thing if they have just a bunch of different franchises that they own and they're okay content, but the thing is, the franchises that Disney owns, they have great quality content. It's very high quality content that only Disney franchises have. For example, they have franchises like Star Wars. That's huge. Every single household name pretty much knows Star Wars. The Marvel universe, that's probably one of the biggest ones that they own. The Muppets, and of course they got the Disney princes and princes with all the musics and videos that come out based off of these just Disney characters. Chronicles of Narnia, Pirates of the Caribbean, Pixar films. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Grey's Anatomy. There's so many things that Disney owns that has and provides very high level of content. So again, it's a huge difference if they just owned okay franchises, but they own some of the biggest franchises in history, especially modern day history, and they keep producing more and more quality content. For example, of course we all know about Disney Plus, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, and I think that's probably the biggest area of growth that they're focusing on, and that's why I put it into my growth portfolio. But they just came out with a huge hit series recently, The Mandalorian, and that's another one that they can add to their catalog, their library of great series that are all down that they all own. So this is just for example of all the different franchises and why they have great quality. Not only does Disney just have a huge array of different brands that they own within their own brand, but it's the way they're able to monetize them. If we just hop on the Disney website, of course they got their streaming service, and that is just huge. So we're not going to even talk about that. Then they have parks and travel. Of all their characters that they have, they're able to create parks and these type of resorts that people can go to. It's not only just parks, it's things like resorts or cruise lines, which is just another way to monetize. Disney is the king of being able to monetize their content, which is huge. This is exactly what you're looking for a company. Not only do they have their core products, for example, the shows and movies that they're coming out with, but they have all these products to be able to complement and monetize even more. That's one of the reasons why I love Disney. They're able to create a recurring revenue from Disney Plus. They're also able to add on with all the different shows and movies, and it's kind of like an unlimited glitch. They can just create more and more high quality TV shows or content and be able to monetize that off of, whether it's from resorts or it's from products, consumer goods, and whatever it is, whatever the case may be. This is one of the reasons why I think Disney is so great. And once again, look at all the different ways that Disney is able to get revenue. Look at all the different directions. Of course, they've got cable TV where they have their primary Disney channel. They've got ABC and Fox and so much more. You can see that that's 34% domestic and 9% international. So that's about half of their revenue. They've got 16% coming from Hulu, 8% from Disney Plus, 12% from all their films and licensing, 20% coming from their parks and resorts. And that's something that's actually been taking a hit ever since 2020 because of the pandemic. And it's actually been able to give the rise of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. So they have so much of a moat that they're able to be able to take a hit in certain areas. For example, when things shut down, their parks and resorts, of course, didn't do that well, but it gave life to things like Disney Plus. It kind of accelerated the process of everyone streaming. For example, we all remember the beginning of the pandemic when Tiger King was the biggest thing. And yeah, somewhere during that time, Disney Plus became a huge thing. And of course, it's going to start to slow down. But I definitely think over the long term, where people start to cut cable out, they have Disney Plus. I just like the balance that Disney's able to keep. If one area shuts down, for example, if cable TV ever went away, we've got online streaming. If the parks ever got shut down because of pandemic again, we got streaming. If streaming is something that's not really the future, then we got cable TV. So you kind of just get to see the gist of how Disney is so well balanced, and that's why I love it. And the reason why I think it has growth potential as well is because not only are they creating more and more content, but they're actually diversifying their content. They're getting into not just their regular TV shows with animation. They're starting to get to sports, which I believe it can be a huge, big potential for them, and hopefully they'll be able to pull it off. Especially because like I'm an investor or whatever. They're also starting to get into anime, and anime is a huge market. I mean, just take a look at this headline: Disney Twisted Wonderland anime adaptation development. I believe that this was a mobile game made by Disney and now it's becoming an official anime. This is huge news. The anime market is one that Disney hasn't really been able to tap into. And if they're able to do so, this is another area that they're able to get into and penetrate. Oh man, I'm just excited because not only am I an anime fan, not only am I a Disney fan, but I am their stock owner. I own this stock, and this could be huge. I know Disney for sure can create quality content, but this is absolutely nuts. Anime is something that's been able to grow, and I don't want to nerd out because that's not what this video is for, but I definitely think that Disney has a lot of potential here, especially because they're not really in this game. And of course, it's not going to be right off the bat where they come out with a huge anime series, but once again, over time, this could be in a huge, huge market for them. And once again, huge potential. I think Disney's going to do great in this area. And just to reiterate it, anime has been on the rise in terms of popularity over the past few years because of the pandemic. I mean, Netflix has tried it and they've been very successful. So, I mean, if Disney can tap into this market as well, it could be huge for them, especially because according to this article over here, it's increasing streaming sites, merchandise, conventions, and more. And this is exactly where Disney operates. For example, we all know the different type of toys, merchandise, consumer goods that Disney is able to create and then monetize. Netflix has these animes and these shows, but they're not really able to monetize at the same level that Disney is. They don't have Netflix stores. For example, I can go to my local mall and then go to a Disney store and buy some things. So this is an area where I think Disney has a huge potential. But anyways, that's enough about Disney and anime. Of course, they have so much room to grow, not only here, but in gaming, even their parks and their streaming. But you know what? I definitely think Disney is great. So let's take a look at what I have inside of my portfolio. So far, this is my position inside of Disney. It's nothing too spectacular. In fact, most of my position it was inside of my dividend growth portfolio, but I decided to move it from that portfolio to this portfolio. There's no easy way to do that, so I just like to keep myself organized. So unfortunately, I had to sell it, and I'm bringing in funds from that account into this account. I hate that I had to do it, but you know what? It makes more sense for Disney to be a part of my growth portfolio rather than my dividend portfolio. And the reason for that is just because I add more funds to my dividend portfolio, looking to be able to retire with my dividends. I have a whole series on that, so I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check it out, or the top right over here. But anyways, this is my position so far. Again, it's nothing spectacular, but I definitely look and I'm very looking forward to be able to add more in the future and build this position into a very high position. It's about 5% of my overall growth portfolio, and if you guys want to take a quick look, I have it in the link in the description, but if you guys want to take a look, it's here as well. So we got Disney right at 5%. And once again, we're trying to fill that void so that it becomes a bigger part of my portfolio. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys own Disney for yourselves, or if you're planning to buy Disney after this video, or maybe sometime in the future. Either way, you guys have my thoughts on Disney and why I think it's so great. Hopefully they'll be able to bring back their dividend, but honestly, I can't say that I'm too upset if they're focusing on growth, especially with them being able to get into more streaming and also into anime and gaming even more. But at the end of the day, it's definitely an investment that I'm very happy to have made. So Disney is one that I'm going to be loading up, and hopefully I'll be able to make an even bigger position inside of my portfolio. But that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think. I'd appreciate if you guys could hit the like button, subscribe, and stick along for my journey. Again, guys, I really do appreciate it. So with that being said, I hope this video helped. And guys, remember, everybody eats.